Hey folks, just wanted to talk with you a little bit about improvement that comes by way of reflection. We talk a lot about the Deming cycle, PDCA, plan, do, check, adjust, and find that that last bit of checking and adjusting is the least leveraged and yet the highest opportunity part of that cycle. And as a designer, I'm an architect, it's something that we use, and let me just tell you that if an architect can do it, I don't see why any builder can't do it too. Since we, our work is in our minds and on paper, but for people that put work in place in the field, this is easier to see and do. So there are a couple things I want to share, and my favorite story around all of this has to do with my first reading of the Toyota Way when I first learned about Hansei. And if you haven't read it, there's a brief sequence in there where they talk about in Japanese culture how a child that's misbehaving will be directed by their parents. You must go sit in the corner and you must perform the Hansei. And that means reflection. And it means something that we're familiar with, which is to think about what we've done. But it adds a key element of thinking, well, what could I do to improve and do better the next time? Because there is a deep cultural need for that in Japan that we would do well to emulate. For us, on our projects, we use a formal process of that in our week-to-week planning. We have a section where we review the work that we did. We find out of the things that we promised, how many of the things we completed. And for the things that we didn't complete, we ask why. We do root cause for that variance from the plan. And that includes just an open discussion about, well, that didn't happen. Why was that? Using 5 whys to drill down. And what ends up happening is that it's not meant to embarrass people. It's not meant to make them feel bad, other than wanting to obviously be more reliable as they go forward. But what it does is it opens up opportunities for the rest of the team to support that individual. So if I'm a team leader and I have a relationship with, say, a consultant, and that consultant didn't get a promise fulfilled, didn't get the drawings that my team member needed, I can help them say, well, was it because you didn't ask him time? No, I asked him time, they just didn't get it for me. Okay, well, do I need to intervene? Well, this is the 3rd time it's happened in the last month. Well, then that's my job as a project manager, as a leader, to be able to call that consultant and to say, as I try to build our supply chain, hey, you know what, this is critical, what's going on? And it'll find something typically on their end that they can fix and correct. And then the whole team benefits and is able to move forward. So that's something that happens on a weekly basis. We go even finer granularity with that on a day-to-day basis when we have our daily huddles, because there we're able to make fine-tune adjustments. We set a plan for the week, but plan is a verb, it's not a noun. And so things happen quickly and shift in design. And so what we need to do is be touching base every day. And there's often an element of reflection. Oh, I'm struggling with this particular thing, or this went really well. How can we sustain the things that are going well? How can we improve the things that could have gone better? And then it's also important to take a deliberate step backwards at the end of milestones and do a full-on Hansei or a reflection. And we spend a significant amount of time doing this. We ask people to prepare for a week or 2 in advance to really think about what happened in that particular phase in the project, and then be prepared to come and talk about it. And not for 20 minutes, but for as long as a half a day at times to cover 6-8 weeks of work. That is how you learn from what has happened, both from the mistakes and the successes, and that helps you sustain improvement as a cultural part of your company.